Hello, this is Ruth Hollingshead, trustee for Site for Wight, welcoming you to this week's Talking News.
Site for Wight Talking News for Friday the 29th of May 2020.
Alison reading from the Isle of Wight Observer under the heading Free School Meals During the COVID-19 Outbreak. Do you qualify? Families whose income has reduced or stopped due to the coronavirus COVID-19 crisis may now qualify for free school meals. The Isle of Wight Council is urging families to check if their children are eligible, as the pandemic creates more hardship. Children eligible for income-related free school meals are still entitled to receive a school lunch, food parcel or voucher while schools are closed. Councillor Paul Brading, Cabinet Member for Children's Services, Education and Skills, said, "Since the 27th of March, the Council has received 94 eligible claims, but there could be many more islanders who qualify. We are concerned that families that are now struggling financially because of the COVID-19 outbreak may not realise their child could be eligible for free school meals or know where to go for help. If your financial situation has changed, please go to our website where you'll find lots of information about free school meals so you can check if you might be eligible. Am I eligible to receive free school meals for my child? If you are in receipt of any of the following benefits, you may be eligible to receive free school meals for your child. Universal credit. Net earnings threshold of £7,400 from April 2018. Income support. Income-based job seekers allowance or employment and support allowance. Child tax credit. Net earnings threshold of £16,190 from April 2018. Guarantee element of pension credit. Support under Part 6 of the Immigration and Asylum Act 1999. Where a parent is entitled to working tax credit run-on. How to apply. Use the link below to apply and confirm your child's eligibility for free school meals. www.iow.gov.uk/council/other services/free school meals. You only need to apply once for each child. If you are found eligible, we will send a notification to your child's school, who will contact you. If you are found not eligible, the Council will write to request evidence of the qualifying benefit. If you are a family who previously received free school meals for your child, then you should still be receiving these through your school.
This is Brian reading an article from the Isle of Wight Observer. Football. Developers still committed to providing new ground for Newport FC. Newport Football Club and its supporters have been reassured that developers are still fully committed to providing new headquarters for the club and the community at a complex near the racecourse roundabout. Newport, members of the Wessex League Division 1, ground shared with island rivals East Cowes Vicks last season after their HQ at St George's Park was sold for redevelopment. In return, Newport were promised their new complex and were hoping to be playing there by this Christmas at the latest. However, the coronavirus pandemic means there could be a further delay, as no work has yet been started on the site, but an update is expected within the next few weeks. Tony Wake of developers South Coast Leisure is also chairman of Newport FC. He said, We remain absolutely committed to providing a first-class new home for Newport FC in a state-of-the-art facility that will also be a sporting hub for the local community. We continue to work hard to this end during the current difficult time and hope to be able to give the club, its supporters and the wider community an update in the coming weeks.
This is Chris reading an article from the Isle of Wight County Press. East Cowes Vicks coaxed 2 yachtsmen into joining crew. East Cowes Vicks have coaxed 2 talented yachtsmen into crossing the Medina to join their crew for next season. After boosting his coaching staff by bringing in Ian Potts from Cowes Sports last week, Vic's boss, Richie Woodburn, plundered the yachtsmen's ranks by securing the signatures of ex-Vic's hitman, Jai Nash, and skillful midfielder, Aidan Wight. Woodburn now feels he has a settled squad ahead of the new Sydenham's Wessex season, whenever that starts, having also secured the services of the vast majority of his squad from last season, including highly rated keeper Carl Steinborn-Bousset, Ryan Gregory and Jimmy Burton. Cowes, who have gained a new sponsor in Ecovo Media, recently signed former player-manager John McKee, skillful ex-yachtsman defender Callum Chase, and former Newport player Lewis Wright. But the club has not confirmed the rest of the squad has signed on the dotted line to play Sydenham's Premier Football for the club for this coming season. Division 1 side Newport, who were one of the promotion candidates going into the latter stages of last season until COVID-19 struck, have re-signed former Vic's forward and skipper Joe Butcher. Port boss Andy Sampson will be delighted to have most of his squad sign up to play next season, particularly Connor Kelly, who was a revelation, alongside the likes of Joe Craig, Jordan Brown and skipper Martin McDonough.
This is Howard reading an article from OnTheWight about the Cowes Floating Bridge. Since the beginning of the coronavirus lockdown, the Cowes Floating Bridge has given priority to blue light services and essential workers. As the lockdown measures begin to ease, with those unable to work from home being allowed to return to work, some pupils returning to school on 1st of June, that's next Monday, and some shops reopening in the next couple of weeks, News on the Wight sought an update on who can use the Cowes Floating Bridge. A spokesperson for the Isle of Wight Council told us, in spite of the partial easing of lockdown restrictions, all bridge users are reminded that government guidance states it's still very important that people stay at home unless necessary to go out for specific reasons set out in law. Before travelling, please consider whether your journey is absolutely necessary. If you're travelling with us as a foot passenger, please observe social distancing that's a minimum of 2 meters at all times. Please note that this will result in foot passenger capacity being reduced. All users are reminded that cash will not be taken on board. For all casual travellers without a floating bridge saver card, tickets can be purchased by cash or contactless from the shoreside ticket machines prior to boarding, or you can pay by card or by using your mobile phone account via our web app. Please visit iowfb.uk. Travel for school children will be in line with the government advice, which says people should consider all other forms of transport before using public transport. If they can't walk, cycle or drive to their destination, they're advised to travel at off-peak times. We recognise for school children wishing to use the floating bridge, this may not be possible, so are limiting foot passenger numbers to ensure social distancing is maintained. Take a less busy route and reduce the number of changes. This will be a decision for the parents. Wait for other passengers to get off before boarding. This is already part of the floating bridge standard operating procedures. Keep 2 meters away from people where possible. This is managed through limiting the number of foot passengers, wash hands for at least 20 seconds after completing the journey. While floating bridge staff regularly clean high-touch areas on the floating bridge, parents should ensure children do this.
This is Den. This is an article from the Island Echo. GKN offers voluntary resignation scheme with £20,000 payout for East Cowes staff. Staff at GKN Aerospace in East Cowes have been given the opportunity to voluntarily resign from the company and walk away with a lump sum payout. It has been confirmed last Thursday. The firm has opened a voluntary resignation scheme which encourages members of staff to say farewell to the company with the added incentive of a £20,000 tax-free payout. Resignation of staff on a voluntary basis now could help GKN Aerospace in the coming months, with the future of the industry unclear. It's understood that the offer is being made available to all of the island's GKN workforce in the hope of avoiding compulsory redundancies further down the line. The news comes at a time when the aviation industry finds itself in turmoil due to the worldwide coronavirus crisis. Dutch airline KLM is opening a similar scheme to help the company ride the wave. Staff on the Isle of Wight have this week received letters detailing the package on offer. GKN Aerospace has stressed that this scheme is completely voluntary and is legally different from voluntary or compulsory redundancy. A similar scheme has also been used in Bristol in the past.
Hello, I'm Steve and I'm reading a story from BBC Radio headlined Gene Therapy to Halt Rare Form of Sight Loss. A new gene therapy has been used to treat patients with a rare inherited eye disorder which causes blindness. It's hoped the NHS treatment will halt sight loss and even improve vision. Matthew Wood, who's 48, is one of the first patients to receive the injection, and he told the BBC, "I value the remaining sight I have, so if I can hold on to that, it would be a big thing for me. The treatment costs around £600,000, but NHS England has agreed a discounted price with the manufacturer, Novartis. Luxturna voretigene neparvovec has been approved by the National Institute for Health and Care Excellence, or NICE, which estimates that just under 90 people in England will be eligible for the treatment. The gene therapy is for patients who have retinal dystrophy as a result of inheriting a faulty copy of the RPE65 gene from both parents. The gene is important for providing the pigment that light-sensitive cells need to absorb light. Initially, this affects night vision, but eventually, as the cells die, it can lead to complete blindness. An injection is made into the back of the eye. This delivers working copies of the RPE65 gene. These are contained inside a harmless virus, which enables them to penetrate the retinal cells. Once inside the nucleus, the gene provides the instructions to make the RPE65 protein, which is essential for healthy vision. Matthew Wood started losing his sight as a child and is now registered blind. However, he does have some peripheral vision and can detect large objects and bright lights. He told the BBC, "Since I was a child, I was continually told there was no treatment for this condition, so it's amazing to receive this gene therapy." Mr. Wood, who's from London, had his right eye treated during an hour-long operation at the John Radcliffe Hospital in Oxford. His left eye will be injected in a few weeks. The surgery was carried out by Professor Robert McLaren, who has pioneered research into gene therapies for preventing blindness. He told the BBC, "This is very exciting. This is the first approved NHS gene therapy for an eye disease, but there are opportunities to use gene therapy to treat other diseases in future, not only in the eye. The treatment is only suitable for patients who have some remaining vision. It should bring the biggest benefits to children with RPE65 retinal dystrophy, as it could halt sight loss before permanent damage is done. It's not known how long the benefits of the treatment will last, but it's thought it could be several decades." Jake Ternent, who's 23 and from Durham, had his gene therapy at the Moorfields Eye Hospital in London. Professor James Bainbridge from Moorfields Eye Hospital, who treated Jake, told the BBC, "To be at the point now where we are able to offer this treatment on the NHS is truly remarkable. This is the first example of what's anticipated to be a whole new generation of treatments. It will take a month or two before Matthew and Jake know what changes the gene therapy has made to their vision. But even if it simply prevents further sight loss, both say they will be delighted." Professor Stephen Powis, the NHS Medical Director, said, "Loss of vision can have a devastating effect, particularly for children and young people. But this truly life-changing treatment offers hope to people with this rare and distressing condition."
This is Sue reading an article from the Island Echo. Business Bounce Back Initiative to benefit island charities. A scheme to help get business back up and running with the sale of protective face masks is also set to benefit local charities on the island. The Business Bounce Back initiative is being supported by entrepreneur John Calcutt and Yarmouth-based chandlery businesses Harwood's of Yarmouth, and offer low-cost protective face masks for use by island businesses. The masks, which are 3-ply civil protection disposable face masks conforming to British standards, have been generously supplied at cost by businessman John Calcutt for sale to local businesses. Each mask will retail at £1, which covers costs and a 50p donation for every purchase to Wight Aid. Masks can be collected from the store, which is now open 5 days a week, with volunteers supporting local deliveries to the West Wight for those unable to collect supplies. Jamie Sheldon, owner of Harwood's of Yarmouth, said, "With more businesses preparing to open up from mid-June, many are having to consider how they can offer a safe environment both their staff and their customers. From changing their layouts to looking at the way people move around their premises and ensuring they have sufficient PPE for their staff. Thanks to John's generous support, we hope that by offering these items for sale at cost, we can help people kickstart their businesses once more." Jeff Underwood, founder of the Wight Aid Foundation, said, "Many people will be aware that charities have also been hard hit during this difficult period. We are extremely grateful to John and to Harwood's of Yarmouth for adding a donation through these sales to the Wight Aid Foundation, which will help us support charities to get back on their feet too." Jamie added, "We have just taken delivery of 1,500 masks and are expecting a further 5,000 in the coming days, and a constant regular supply for as long as we need them. We are limiting purchases to a maximum of 200 per business, just to ensure we have enough for every business that needs them. We would ask businesses to pre-order in advance by calling us on 01983 760 258, and we can let them know when they are ready for collection. The Wight Aid Foundation and its business partners have helped grant over £300,000 to over 108 different charities on the island since its launch in 2016.
This is an article from the Isle of Wight County Press, read by Terry. Bembridge Coast Guard rescue team called to reports of jet ski collision in East Cowes. Bembridge Coast Guard rescue team was called to East Cowes last Wednesday to investigate a report of a jet ski collision. A spokesperson for HM Coast Guard said Bembridge Coast Guard rescue team was called to reports of a potential jet ski collision on East Cowes seafront at 4:05 p.m. It soon became evident that a jet ski had come ashore at high speed rather than a collision. The team then issued the owner with safety advice and left the scene shortly after 5 p.m. A message from the Bembridge Coast Guard rescue team's Twitter account has urged those using similar crafts to take care. The tweet said, "Several members of the public report near misses with vessels too close inshore. all pleasurecraft users have a responsibility to know the bylaws.
This is Alison, reading from the Isle of Wight Observer under the heading Applications Open for Discretionary Grant Fund. Applications have opened last Wednesday for eligible island businesses to apply for grant funding under an additional government discretionary scheme. The Council has been allocated £2.96 million to distribute, specifically to those businesses which missed out under the far larger initial government grant scheme and which qualify under the new criteria. Details of the extra scheme, including which businesses qualify and an application form, can be accessed from www.iwight.com/COVID-19_business advice. Under the new scheme, businesses are required to submit financial and other evidence to support their application. Only businesses which were trading on the 11th of March 2020 are eligible. The Council aims to process applications as swiftly as possible over the coming weeks, before distributing payments to successful applicants. The scheme will be reviewed at various stages and further sectors may be added. There will also be an appeals process. The government has said businesses which meet the following criteria should consider whether to apply. Small businesses that satisfied 2 or more of the following requirements in a year: turnover of not more than £10.2 million, balance sheet total of not more than £5.1 million, and fewer than 50 employees. Micro businesses that satisfied 2 or more of the following requirements in a year: turnover of not more than £632,000, balance sheet total of not more than £316,000, no more than 10 employees. Businesses with relatively high ongoing fixed property related costs. Businesses which can show they have suffered a significant fall in income due to the COVID-19 crisis. Businesses which occupy property or part of a property with a rateable value or annual rent or annual mortgage payments below £51,000. The government has asked councils to prioritise sectors including small businesses in shared offices or other flexible workspaces, regular market traders with fixed building costs such as rent, bed and breakfasts which pay council tax instead of business rates, additional charity properties in receipt of charitable business rates relief. The government has also given local councils discretion to apply their own criteria in certain areas. The Isle of Wight Council has considered key local factors and has added criteria to include businesses based in properties with a zero rateable value, but still with ongoing property costs. Businesses based on self-catering holiday accommodation, which pay council tax instead of business rates. Businesses which are significant suppliers to the leisure and hospitality business, which have suffered significant losses due to COVID-19. Council leader Dave Stewart said, "I am delighted we have got this extra scheme to help those island businesses which may have missed out under the initial grants. I would urge these businesses to check the new qualifying criteria and send in an application if they are eligible. If some businesses continue to miss out, even with the introduction of this scheme, we will seek to bring this to the attention of the government and highlight where we feel the scheme might be extended. While there is still some local discretion, there may be some exclusions where our hands are still tied by the overriding government criteria. We remain committed to continuing to work to help island businesses gain access to all available help in these very difficult times." It is anticipated the £2.96 million allocated to the Council for the additional scheme will come out of any monies left over from the £62.8 million provided by the Government to the island under its initial Business Grants Fund. A total of 3,752 island businesses have received £42.8 million of funding under the initial scheme. The Council is nearing completion of these payments, with a major push taking place to reach any remaining qualifying businesses that have not submitted their details for payment.
This is Chris, reading an article from the Isle of Wight County Press. Briefing by Prime Minister confirms schools reopening plan. The Prime Minister has again said the government will partly reopen primary schools in England on the 1st of June and secondary schools on the 15th of June. In a daily briefing, Boris Johnson said it would allow teachers and parents to plan for the move. From the 1st of June, schools will open to children in reception and years 1 and 6. Early years facilities will also be open. From the 15th of June, students in years 10 and 12 will have access to secondary schools. Mr. Johnson said measures, including smaller class sizes and groups, staggered breaks, lunches, drop-offs and pick-ups, increased use of outdoor space and testing available for those with symptoms. On Friday, the Isle of Wight County Press spoke to Isle of Wight Council's Education Lead Councillor Paul Brading. Last Sunday, Boris Johnson promised support for schools and said that if they could not open on the 1st of June, they would be supported to do so as soon as possible. Mr. Johnson called it a deliberately cautious approach. He also used the daily briefing to back government advisor Dominic Cummings. Mr. Johnson said after meeting with Mr. Cummings today, Sunday, he was satisfied that the advisor had followed the instincts of every father, acting responsibly, legally and with integrity in driving to Durham to seek childcare while suffering the symptoms of coronavirus.
Hello, I'm Steve and I'm reading a story from the OnTheWight online news site headlined Absolute Radio Raid the Isle of Wight Festival Archives for Front Room Festival Lineup. Absolute Radio have combed the Isle of Wight Festival archives to programme an exclusive Front Room Festival lineup airing from the 12th to the 14th of June to entertain the nation on what would have been the 2020 festival weekend. Listeners are encouraged to don their best festival gear, crank up the volume and celebrate some incredible performances from Isle of Wight festivals gone by. Performances across the weekend will include the band that Absolute Radio listeners voted the second best live act ever, Foo Fighters. Plus, for the first time, listeners will hear tracks from David Bowie's last ever live UK performance and from The Who's seminal 1970 festival set. More exclusive festival highlights include Paul McCartney, Fleetwood Mac, Coldplay, Depeche Mode, Biffy Clyro, Blondie, Iggy Pop, Sheryl Crow, The Rolling Stones and more. 22 sets will be broadcast on Absolute Radio on the 12th to 14th of June, from 7 p.m. each night. Listeners will also be able to win tickets to next year's Isle of Wight Festival, confirmed for the 17th to the 20th of June. Everyone is missing live music right now, and while we're devastated we won't be back at the Isle of Wight Festival this year, we think this is the next best option. With so many highlights from over the years, we believe this is the greatest festival lineup of all time. We know that people are going to be able to crack open a beer and pretend they're really in the front row. We can't wait. On Friday 12th of June from 7 p.m, hosted by Sarah Champion and Ben Burrell, it will feature Paul McCartney, Fleetwood Mac, Foo Fighters, Depeche Mode, Snow Patrol, Blondie and James. On Saturday the 13th of June from 7pm and hosted by Danielle Perry and Ross Buchanan, it'll feature David Bowie, Coldplay, Iggy Pop, Biffy Clyro, Red Hot Chili Peppers, The Police, Texas and Supergrass. And finally on Sunday the 14th of June from 7pm, hosted by Andy Bush and Richie Firth, it'll feature the Rolling Stones, the 1970 performance by The Who, the Kings of Leon, Sheryl Crow, Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds, Kasabian and Ocean Colour Scene.
Hello, this is Sue reading from the Island Echo. Southern Vectis announces increase in Isle of Wight bus services. Southern Vectis has announced it will increase daytime bus services across the Isle of Wight from next week. The move follows higher demand after the government's decision to begin easing the coronavirus lockdown. From Sunday the 31st of May, passengers on the Isle of Wight will benefit from more frequent buses across many Southern Vectis routes, with some running up to every 10 minutes. Andrew Wickham, Managing Director of Southern Vectis, says, "Since March we have been providing essential travel for those who have relied on us in order to be able to carry out their vital roles, and now others are returning to work. We are responding to a rise in demand by reintroducing a number of services and increasing the frequency of those we have been running since lockdown began. We want to make sure all our drivers and customers are safe on board our buses, so we have introduced even more stringent cleaning regimes, sanitising our vehicles throughout with antiviral wipes. We have also taken measures to enable social distancing by altering the layout of our seating. Among the timetable changes is an increase in frequency for Route 1, which runs from Newport to Cowes via St Mary's Hospital. This route will now run every 10 minutes Monday to Saturday and every 15 minutes on Sunday. Andrew adds, we are also introducing buses every 10 minutes on our popular Route 9, which runs from Newport to Ryde via Medina, Staplers, Wootton and Binstead. With social distancing measures in place, the number of passengers each vehicle can carry is reduced, but our customers will notice a significant increase in the number of buses running across the island. We ask those on board to wear face coverings if they can and to avoid using cash, paying by contactless, smart card or app instead if possible. We are making some changes at Newport and Ryde bus stations to allow for social distancing. This means our customers may need to catch their bus from a different stand. Please check our new signs at the bus station for details. We are delighted to be reintroducing so many of our services here. I would like to thank our customers for their continued support and my key worker colleagues for their incredible resilience and dedication during these very challenging times. Summary of daytime service changes. Route 1. Monday to Saturday every 10 minutes. Sunday every 15 minutes. Route 2. Monday to Saturday every 30 minutes. Route 3. Monday to Saturday every 30 minutes. Route 4. Monday to Saturday every hour. Route 5. Monday to Saturday every 30 minutes. Route 9. Monday to Saturday every 10 minutes. Sunday every 30 minutes. Route 37. Monday to Saturday every hour. Route 38. Monday to Saturday every 30 minutes. Route 39. Monday to Friday every hour. For more detailed timetable information, visit islandbuses.info.
This is Lisa reading from the Isle of Wight County Press. New lockdown rules announced. What can you do and can't you do from Monday this week? Prime Minister Boris Johnson has announced an easing down of the lockdown rules in England, which will come into force on Monday, June the 1st. Mr Johnson has said that all 5 of the government's tests for easing the lockdown are now being met, so adjustments can begin being made in England. They include allowing up to 6 people to gather outside in public spaces or private gardens. He told the Daily Downing Street press conference, "I cannot and I will not throw away all the gains we have made together, and therefore the changes we're making are limited and cautious. It is thanks to the caution you've shown so far that all 5 tests are now being met. The result is we can move forward with adjusting the lockdown in England from Monday." So what can we do from Monday? Groups of 6 people can meet in private gardens, provided those from different households continue to social distance rules by staying 2 metres apart. These rules allow people to meet from different households. Previously, people could only meet one person in outside public spaces such as a park. It means, said Mr. Johnson, that people will be able to see both parents or grandparents at the same time. Does this mean you can go into someone else's house? No, this is still not allowed. The Prime Minister said this is because the ability for coronavirus to spread is far lower outdoors. Mr. Johnson continued, people are permitted inside other people's home if they need access to the garden, however. Mr. Johnson further added, people should try to avoid seeing too many households in quick succession in order to avoid the risk of quick transmission from lots of different families. Can I go shopping? Not yet, or at least not to most shops. Some retail, such as outdoor markets and car showrooms, will be able to reopen on June the 1st. But other non-essential retail, including clothes shops, will have to wait until June the 15th, and then only if the government's criteria for lifting the lockdown are still being met. Will schools reopen? Yes, the Prime Minister announced that from Monday schools will reopen to more children, saying closing schools has deprived our children of their education. He went on Monday we will start to put this right in a safe way by reopening nurseries and other early years settings and reception year 1 and year 6 in primary schools. He said that from June the 15th, secondary schools will begin to provide face-to-face contact time for years 10 and 12. What about those vulnerable people who are shielding? Chief Medical Officer for England, Professor Chris Whitty, said, "It is hoped that relatively soon the number of infections will be low enough to start letting shielded people leave their homes." Jay, 33 from Horsham, who is shielding with her 10-year-old son, asked the Downing Street briefing how the lockdown was going to be eased for the extremely vulnerable, saying she felt that people like her had been forgotten. Professor Whitty said the number of infections must come down to reduce the risk for the shielded and the vulnerable. And we will get to a stage, we hope relatively soon, where the absolute risk of people has gone down to a low enough level it will be possible in stages for people to leave shielding.
2020 vision or not? Do you attend the eye clinic on the island? If so, we really want to hear from you and get your opinion. Sight for Wight is undertaking a major review of the needs of people with all varieties of eye conditions here on the Isle of Wight. We want to make sure our future services support as many people as we can. To do that, we need to know more. So please, can you and your friends complete the survey online? www.surveymonkey.co.uk/r/Sight for Wight, all lowercase, all one word. I'll say that again. www.surveymonkey.co.uk/r/Sight for Wight. If you're having any troubles with that, then please email inquiries at iwsb.org.uk or call us on 522205 and we can send you a QR code or the link for you to simply click on. Thank you.
Hello, this is Ruth, Group Leader for the Macular Society on the Isle of Wight. Just to remind anybody who has a macular condition to please attend any appointments that come through for you at the eye unit. We can assure you that everything is being done at the hospital to ensure your safety and to remind you of the importance of attending these appointments, and also the importance of reporting any changes in your vision. If you notice flashing lights, cloudiness, floating shapes, or any straight lines that are starting to bend, for example window frames or lampposts, then please seek medical advice, whether that be through your GP, your optician or the eye unit. Or you can contact the Macular Society on 0300 30 30 111, or of course call Sight for Wight on 522205.
Many of you have hopefully already heard that the Dress for Less dress agency that supports Sight for Wight has been sourcing a wide range of smart, casual and formal clothes for a variety of occasions in all shapes and sizes for the online version of the shop. The brilliant news is that people across the Isle of Wight have been really generous, and best of all, every penny that we raise will support Sight for Wight. However, we regret to announce that following advice and mindful of the safety of our volunteers and staff, we cannot reopen the shop in Newport at this time. However, sales will continue online. The link to the online sales is as follows: www.ebay.co.uk/USR/Sight for Wight, as one word with no spaces and all lowercase. I'll repeat it one more time. The link for online sales for Dress for Less is www.ebay.co.uk/USR/Sight for Wight, and the Wight is Isle of Wight, obviously. Good luck. I hope you can click through. For those people who are currently using our service on a 50-50 basis, we are very happy for you to take back your clothes if you prefer, but we really hope you'll convert to a full donation and support the charity at this difficult time. As always, we thank our supporters for their generosity and patience, and we thank all of those very generous people who've donated quality clothes for us to sell for Sight for Wight. Thank you.
Sight for Wight need your help in designing a new logo for our dress agency, Dress for Less. Dress for Less sources a wide range of smart, casual and formal clothes for a variety of occasions and for all ages, shapes and sizes. Best of all, every penny raised supports Sight for Wight, also known as Isle of Wight Society for the Blind, an island charity for people affected by sight loss. Here's the brief. The logo will belong to a classy clothes agency and needs to show that cleanly and clearly. It should look expensive even if our outfits aren't. The logo should aim to link back to the logo of the main charity to remind shoppers what it's all for. The colours and shapes are important as the charity supports sight impaired people, so let's make this DDA compliant. Avoid colours like red, which are hard for visually impaired people to see. Closing date for entries is Wednesday the 15th of July 2020. Rapa Nui will be judging the competition. Entries must have your full name, email and telephone number. Under 18s must further include the school name, parent, guardian email address and phone number. Please send this information with a PDF of your entry that can print up to A4 to ceo@iwsb.org.uk. For more information, visit siteforwight.org.uk or call 01983 522 05. Good luck. Site for Wight would like to thank you for listening to this week's edition of the Talking News. We would also like to thank our volunteers for reading, and a particular thank you to the Island Echo, Isle of Wight County Press, Isle of Wight Observer and OnTheWight. A special thank you must go to Vectis Radio, who has helped us get vital information to our members.